Storytime, boys and girls. Today I'm going to be reading to you an excerpt from one of the short stories in my collection, Tales of St.Marts. This first story is called Starchild. Dunstan watched the girl in the white bikini as she stood at the water's edge. She stretched her lithe arms as wide as a wingspan and turned her face up to the sun with closed eyes. She smiled broadly, seeming to revel in the perfect weather. She strode into the water until the waves lapped her thighs. She dove and broke the surface several feet away. He continued to observe her surreptitiously through his binoculars. There were other lovely girls on the beach this evening, but the swimmer stood out because of her pristine bikini and athletic figure. Her arms moved like blades as she scythed through the water. She pulled away from the other swimmers with amazing speed. He turned his gaze and began scanning the beach from one end to the other, so as not to alert the suspicion of his wife, who lay next to him. He glanced down at her now, from the corner of his eye. She was on her back, her middle-aged body discreetly clad in a black one-piece suit. Behind her old Ray-Ban shade, she seemed to be asleep. She had been a good policeman's wife, if not a bit too conservative for his liking. If she had asked him outright about ogling the girl, he would have admitted it. Still, his guilty conscience made him keep up his pretense. He swept his binoculars over the beach so quickly the sunbathers blurred into multicolored dots before he trained the glasses out to sea. His wife made a sound in her throat and turned on her side, muttering about the heat. He hastily pointed the glasses up at the sky and stared at some unremarkable seabirds lazily floating with the wind currents. He was amused by his own reaction. He swung his glasses back to the water and stared at a young couple's passionate embrace. He looked for a few minutes before searching out the swimmer, but couldn't spot her. He tried to judge how far she could have gone. He scanned, slower, from left to right, seeking her among the bathers who were further out. Nothing. Puzzled, he lined up his sights with the horizon to scan downwards to the shore, and then gave a sharp exclamation. She was out there, swimming backwards into the horizon. He was startled. It was impossible that she could have swum that far, that fast. Yet, as he watched, she disappeared completely from view. Not even his powerful binoculars could pick her out anymore. He realized that he was ramming the viewer to his glasses and that his wife was no longer asleep at the same time. She was looking at him with a disgust he could sense even through her shades. "Now that should be illegal," she said, and gestured with a quick jerk of her chin to the young couple in the passionate clinch. He grunted, keeping his gaze out to sea. "Did you see that?" he asked suddenly, and sat up straighter. "See what?" she asked, taking off her shades. "There was a flash of light like a flare or something way out there." He pointed. She reached into her coat, lying on a towel next to her, and took out her glasses. She raised them to her eyes without putting them on. The strange light was fading away. "Well, I don't know," she said. "Maybe it's a signal from a boat." He shook his head and told her that he had noticed a girl swimming in the same area. She pursed her lips and put her glasses down. In a sharp voice, she suggested he might find a swim more productive than being a peeping Tom, and lay with her back towards him. 21 years of marriage told him what that meant, but 26 years of policing told him that something was up with the swimmer. He couldn't shake the feeling that the girl was in trouble. The feeling grew stronger as the afternoon wore on. High tide came, and the sun started to set. Still, no sign of her. If you'd like to find out what happens next, you can order my book, Tales of St.Marts, from Amazon.com. Thanks for listening.